Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Lucky Dip Podcast. I think right now we're on episode 7, 16, 15. I don't really know. I get confused after the first 3, but basically we've been doing this for a couple of months and it's been a lot of fun. So for those of you who are returning, I really appreciate it. If you're liking this, the podcast so far, if you like the previous episodes, don't feel pressured, but leave a like, leave a comment down below if you're watching on YouTube. If you're listening, leave a rating wherever you're listening to on any listening platform. I'd really appreciate that. I like reading the comments, and obviously, good ratings help other people listen to the podcast and help other people see it. If you're watching this on YouTube, again, as I say every single week, Lucky Dip Podcast is sort of about business sometimes, a little bit about esports, about gaming, and sometimes just more about creativity and just about myself. So if you have any questions about anything, I'm sure it's been answered in previous podcasts. I do want to do some question and answer things in the future. I think I mentioned that last week. So if you guys have any suggestions, if you have any questions, anything like that, definitely feel free to leave it down below. And we can try to work something out and see if we can figure out like a fun little way to incorporate some new stuff. But today is going to be a pretty interesting conversation. This one, I know last week, I say this every week, but I know the previous week I said that I wanted to get a guest on, but I actually had something come up where I wanted to really talk about, and that's kind of like the whole idea around manifestation and kind of like chasing your dreams in a sense, or achieving goals. So I think that's like a really valuable thing, and I'll explain why in just a second here. But we're going to mainly talk about, kind of like manifestation and how it's helped me so far and how it can help you, but not in the way where it's like, just think about it and you'll do it. Like there's more that you have to do in order to actually achieve things, whether that's goals, just, objects, anything. It could be relating to school, relating to work, relating to creativity. It can be pretty much anything. So we'll talk about that and get a little bit into it. But first, I want to start off some cool news relating to me. I'm going to have this screen open for the most part, just because I noticed what I did when I looked back at the podcast episode the other day. I look down at the time a lot, so it looks like I'm like looking like this. I do this the entire time because I like to see like how the clock is, and I like to look at like my my microphone, the volume of it, to make sure that's like not going too much, although I don't yell or anything, so it never goes too much. If anything, it's always too quiet, so I had to turn it up a little bit now. But I always go like, I'm always looking down at the corner of my screen, and it distracted me when I was making some clips. So I'm gonna have just this screen open. It might flush me out a little bit, might make me look a little whiter than I am, but that's all. We got to deal with it. And plus it'll help me keep on track because I can actually like read this stuff as it comes up. So there's not going to be a guest this week. Like I said, I do still want to get some guests on, but I think sometimes I'd rather just talk about stuff on my own, and maybe down the line. Here's the thing as well. This podcast isn't always going to be exactly how it is or how it was, like as we get going, we'll figure out, oh, hey, I like talking about this a bit more. Maybe I'll start transitioning into that. Maybe I like having a co-host. Maybe we'll get a co-host on. Like it can be constantly evolving as we get going. And the fun part about that is because you can listen to the first few episodes. It might be different than the ones now, but hopefully it's still entertaining. Hopefully it's still enough similarities. And, as I mentioned last week and as I mentioned at the beginning of this podcast, I want to incorporate you guys into it a bit more. So as this podcast grows and gets bigger, I want to incorporate people who listen, people who watch a lot more as well. Plus, I want to get a studio set up and, use my better camera and everything. I'll put some stuff on my hard drive, which I have right down here. Funny story about my hard drive. If you're listening right now, just look on YouTube. I'm probably not going to make a clip out of this, but just whatever time you're at right now, just look on YouTube. So I use these hard drives, external hard drives. They're from Lacey. And I got it the first time I started university because we did a lot of school projects, and you don't have like a designated computer there. Right, so you have to have like your work on a hard drive, so you can go to whatever computer there is, and that's where like your work stays on. You just plug it into the computer, your files are there, videos there, whatever it is that you need for editing and stuff. So I had one. I still have it somewhere. I don't know. It's not around here. I don't know where it went, but I had a hard drive and I had a lot of my projects on it. And after a couple of months, it fell off my computer. I had it on there and I pulled the cord. Something happened. It just fell off my computer. I didn't have the casing around it like you just saw. I didn't have any of the protection around it. The whole thing shattered. I lost all of my files, all of my footage. So ever since then I learned, keep it there in that little container thing. Be careful. And the whole thing, the reason I brought that up is because I'm going to start putting when I start recording with my better camera, I'm going to put it all in there because that's like 4 or 2, I can't remember. It's a lot of memory, a lot of terabytes. So that way it doesn't slow my computer down. Regardless, sorry, I went off on a bit of a tangent there. This podcast is titled, or this episode rather, is titled Chase Your Dreams Like Danny Duncan, okay? If you don't know who Danny Duncan is, he's like a YouTube guy. He does tours. He makes vlogs primarily. They come out usually once a week or so, but he has someone filming for him, someone who edits for him, so he's not like, holding the camera and vlogging. He just messes around in public. He used to do pranks and stuff back in the day, and he also has lots of merchandise, and he's a business guy, and one of the things that he used to say in his vlogs was like, chase your dreams, mostly as a joke, but he's also like, deep down, he's also like, a really good guy in that sense. Not like really deep down, I'm not trying to say this guy's like a loser, obviously. I mean, I really like the guy. I just mean like, when he makes funny YouTube videos and stuff, but he also has like that business mindset, and he also cares about people and stuff. So he would say like, chase your dreams and whatnot. And I just remember in one episode, he saw some kid trying to figure out how to do or solve a Rubik's Cube, and ever since then I was like, I want to learn how to do that. So then I learned how to do it a couple of years ago, and now I can solve a Rubik's Cube in like less than 2 minutes, I think, which is good enough for me. I'm not trying to be pro, but yeah, that was one of the things. So I just wanted to title this podcast episode Chase Your Dreams Like Danny Duncan, just because he's the inspiration for Chase Your Dreams, even though I know he's saying it more of as a joke, but I mean it more literally. But it's also kind of satire, like when you say it, like, oh, chase your dreams, but it's still, there's some seriousness to it, if that makes sense. But I don't need to talk about why it's titled that more than I just did. So the main thing, like I said, this week's going to be about manifestation and kind of like just achieving goals and stuff. And the reason I want to talk about it is because the job that I was talking about last week, and I was waiting to hear if I got it, I did get it. So I will be moving very, very shortly. I start in about a month, actually, in a new province. So those of you here in the States, it would be like a new state. It's about 8 hours from here, I think, driving. So I don't know what the equivalent to that would be if you're an American watching this or listening to this, but it's a decent distance away in a completely new place. Well, not completely new. I mean, I do have family out there and stuff. So I'll do some updates as I can with that. I can't really like talk about the job, exactly what it is, because like legal reasons, it's like brand new, so I'm not allowed to say stuff. But as I'm allowed to, I will say stuff, and more stuff I'm going to focus on will be like when I'm moving and like the new place, and that's why I will be having a studio space, because no matter where I'm living, it'll look nicer than my room does currently. So that's when I will film with my camera and like probably an actual microphone for the podcast. So it's going to like improve a lot in quality, I think. And the only downside to that is I don't know how many guests I'll be able to have in person, because even now, like I've said before, one of my struggles with getting guests on is A, the camera, because lots of people don't want to be on camera. B, if I were to do it in person, even here in Calgary, I don't know a lot of people in the esports industry who like literally live where I live. It's not like in the States where a ton of people are either in California or they're in Texas for gaming. It's kind of like they're all over here in Canada, and it's not even nearly as big. So even the people that you do find are usually quite spread out. So it doesn't really make a difference. I'm just saying, when I'm doing the podcast and it looks professional, the only way I could have guests on is if I have them over, and I'm in a new place, so I don't really know people yet. So it might take a bit to get guests on, but it'll look nice. So yeah, that's very exciting stuff. I do start that in about a month. Really starts trying to find a place to live. That's the thing that is stressing me out right now, just because I have about a month, and finding places there is really, really hard. And it's expensive, but I want to live on my own, so I'm going to make it work. I'm going to try to save money, and I'm going to try to keep grinding and working on my creativity. Not my creativity necessarily, I more mean like my creative outlets, such as YouTube, the podcast, Cryas as well, we're still going to work on, and I might just do some like side hustles like real estate photography or something like that, just so that way I can like make a bit of extra money on the side, just some passive income, which would be YouTube through ad revenue. Even if it's not that much, $100 a month still helps. Like that stuff's still very useful. So I'm going to keep trying to do this as much as I can. A, because I like it, obviously. And then B, because that passive income will allow me to live on my own in a more expensive place, so I can keep creating content and stuff. Because if I lived with some random roommates, I wouldn't be able to film or anything or stream or do a lot of that stuff, because you're living with other people. So either they'd be interrupting or they might not want you to do that. I don't know. There's so much I don't like living with other people. I like my space. So that's what I'm going to do. I'll keep you guys updated as that happens. I'm also going to try to post some YouTube videos. Not necessarily like vlogging about the move or anything like that, because it's stressful enough as it is. I don't really need to film all of it. But like once I'm set up and everything, I'll definitely be doing updates. So you can definitely keep an eye out for that, as I will be doing that on my YouTube channel. So if you're already watching, you're already on that right channel. If you're listening right now, it's just Jordan Brenda, just my name. Search that up on YouTube, and you'll be good to go. So today, we're talking about manifestation. Let me tell you where this came from. So a couple of years ago, this whole idea of manifestation was brought to me, or I heard about the idea a couple of years ago in the summer of 2017. So that was, I don't know, 4 years ago? Yeah, something like that. I can't do math. I don't know. I cheated all through stats. I mean, what can I say? I didn't. I think my mom listens to this. I didn't cheat on that, but anyways, a few years ago. So what happened is a couple of years ago here, when I in that summer 2017, I got a job out in the mountains. So where I live, it's about an hour and a little bit to get to like the Rocky Mountains, right? And there's campgrounds out there and stuff. So I applied for a summer job working at one of these campgrounds out in the Kananaskis, like out in a provincial park, literally right in the heart of the mountains. And I got the job, so I moved out there, lived in a trailer park, no Wi-Fi, and I was basically a janitor. I was supposed to be. The job description was your maintenance, not really necessarily maintenance. It was more like a parks worker in a sense. Like you'd be doing like landscaping stuff, but out around the campground. But truthfully, the most stuff that I did was clean bathrooms, and then once in a while I'd get to mow the lawns or weed whack or do like painting and stuff. But for the most part, I was cleaning bathrooms. Let's just say very isolating out there. Okay, when you're used to living in a city. And when you're used to having your own space and you move out somewhere where you're completely in a different space, that makes you very uncomfortable. It's very not fun. That's bad grammar. It's not very fun at this, like when you're in it, but you learn a lot from it. And I think I learned the most that I've learned so far about myself and about all of these ideas when I was out there. Because like I said, I was in a situation where I was like, I do not want to be here. It's not fun here. I didn't really care for the people I worked with, but I was also much more introverted back then. I had long hair. I had a full goatee. Like, you can still see it a little bit here, but I had like a full goatee, really long hair. I wasn't in the best place mentally, so I really just didn't want to be there. So I thought of all the things I could do to escape that. And not when I was there, because I was committed to working there for the 4 months. It was only a couple of months, right? So I'd still come back on the weekends, because like I said, only about an hour away. But being in that situation made me realize I don't want to be in this situation. So what I would do is I'd watch a lot of documentaries. I would download them beforehand when I had Wi-Fi and then just watch them out there. And one of those documentaries is called The Secret. And I think it's still on Netflix, actually. And that whole movie is about manifestation. Now, I will say, when a lot of people talk about manifestation, they make it seem like you can literally just think about it and then it'll happen. Like, I remember one example in this documentary was... this person was thinking about getting a red bike or something. I don't know if it was a story, whatever. They said, think about a red bike and one day a red bike will appear. And I'm like, well, there's more to it than that. Like, you can't just tell people, okay, I'm going to think that I'm going to get a Lamborghini and then one day I'm going to look outside and I'm going to have a brand new Lamborghini. Like, I get that it's a mindset, but I hate when people just say, it feels like a cult thing in a sense. It's like, just think about it and you'll get it. It's like, well, there's more to it. You actually have to do things to get to that point where you could get a Lamborghini, for example, or where you could get a red bike. If you're thinking, I want to get a red bike, but you don't have enough money, then maybe get a job. And once you get the job and you save some money because you're thinking, I want to buy this red bike, then you go to the store and they have a bunch of bikes and you're going to pick the red one. So there you go, you got your red bike. And you manifested that because that's what you were focused on, that's what your goal was, and you got it. But you can't just think it, not do anything about it, and then get it. That's not really how it works. But the idea of it, I really, really liked, which is keeping all of your goals in, visually there. Keep track of what you want to achieve. Write things down. Keep it close to you. And keep reminding yourself, why am I doing this? Because I want to get this. Where do I want to go? I want to go here, right? So that can be in the form of having a vision board. It can be in the form of writing in notebooks. Keep track of all your thoughts. It can be what I even have. I think I might even still have it. I did it in 2017. I remember I was in my room and I wrote down, what are 3 or 4 things I want? I want this amount of money, which, again, that one's hard to achieve by 25 because you never know what you're going to be. But anyways, I wrote down, I want this much money. I want to get this car. I want to get, and I think pay off all my tuition or something, like pay my parents back for anything that they paid for me. Basically, so I wanted to be like financially successful is the gist of it. And then I think I also wrote down the stuff that I would buy if I had enough money where I could spend money on this and not really worry. So I think that was like a new computer or laptop. It was like a bit of camera gear, and all of those things would lead me to continue to be creative because that's what I wanted to do. It would make me film better videos. It would help me edit. It would help me do all of these things, right? So keeping those in mind, keeping this goal in mind of if I have this amount of money, I'll be able to buy this, this, and this. And then thinking, I want to buy this, this, and this, but I have to get this much money, so I have to keep working towards it. It's not just like that. I mean, it could be something little. It could be, I really want this job. So the more that you think about it, the more you'll get it. The more that you're seeing it, the more you'll be reminded that's what I want to do. I do actually have a few examples of this, which I'll get into in a second, and like kind of how I did it. But the things that I do right now, like I said, keep a notebook. I keep that in my wallet, actually, like I said, of just a couple of notes. And just the other day, actually, I do still have this note because I just remembered, since I'm moving now, I'm like cleaning out a lot of stuff for things that I don't need. And I was going through my wallet, and I saw this picture, not a picture, sorry. I saw this piece of paper with a writing on it, and I saw that in 2017, I was still driving my 1998 Ford Explorer Sport. It's like an old SUV. And on this paper, I wrote, I want to get a Subaru or a Mazda, like a standard, basically. I wanted a car, and I wanted it to be manual so I could learn how to drive it. And it's crazy to think about that because I hadn't looked at that note. I forgot that I wrote that down. But a couple of years ago, I sold that SUV, and I bought a Mitsubishi Lancer. That was a manual. It was blue. It was a very nice little sports car. Fun to learn, fun to drive, cheap on gas. I just don't need to keep having a standard. And then I got the opportunity where my dad was buying a new car, so I bought his old car, which is an even newer vehicle for me, from a 2008. So I went from a 1998 car to a 2008 Mitsubishi to a 2012 Infiniti. I have a video about that when I got the new car up on my YouTube channel here. So I looked at that and I crossed that off the list. I went, I've achieved one of these things. So it's crazy to think that at the time I wrote that down, I kept it in my wallet, and that wasn't the main reason why I bought a new car, but it was always in my mind that I want to get a new car. I want to learn how to drive a manual. I want to do this, and I did. So that's one of my examples. I also have a vision board. So you can do this in different ways. You could literally have some posters and stuff, right? And you could literally put stuff up there so you constantly see it. Over there, I don't think you can see it, but over there on the wall, I do have a couple of pictures. That's not my vision board. It's just like a few things that I like goals, like just some nice houses, maybe some vacation spots, little things like that, just to you see it all the time. Keep that in mind. But mostly I have a do-a-ting. And on that, if I see any cool pictures, I'll put them in there, whether it's where I want to go for a vacation, where I'd want to travel to, where maybe the type of house that I'd want to have. One of them is a pool in the backyard because I think that'd be cool. Cars, anything like that. Just put that in there so that kind of keeps your mind thinking about what you would want to do. And then you can start working towards that. So that's the most important part about this whole thing that I mentioned kind of at the beginning is manifesting is thinking about what you want to do. But in order to actually achieve those, you have to work towards it. But when you constantly think about it, it keeps you in check and it keeps you working toward those goals, and then you will achieve them. And that's the part that is really, really cool. So it's not some magic thing, but if you're lost and stuff and you have no idea what you want to do, no idea what you want to get, if you start manifesting and you start finding things you like to do, you make a vision board, you start writing things down, and you can write them down every day and stuff and think towards that goal. I want to do that. And then you'll put yourself in positions where you can start to achieve that. I know that this isn't something that works for every single person. I mean, sometimes you're just in a scenario where you can't get out of the cycle that you're in right now, and that's okay. This is coming from a point of privilege. I'll just be completely honest, where if you have the privilege to think about this is what I want to do, then you can do it. But if just life, things are happening, bills add up, you might not be able to do these big things that you aspire to do right now, but maybe it could be little things. It could be, I want to buy this dinner. Then start working towards that, or maybe save a bit of money, or I want to go on a little trip. Maybe it's not a huge trip around the world. Maybe it's I want to take a trip to this other town, this other city, and go see this one thing. Then you can kind of manifest that and hopefully make it happen. So I'm not ignorant to the fact that not every single person can do this, but there's also the other side of it where not every single person wants to do this, because it is a mindset thing that you have to do, you have to learn, and it does sound goofy. I remember when I was in the mountains, and I did not want to be there, so every single time I'm cleaning the bathrooms, I was thinking, I want to be driving a standard, I want to be driving a Subaru right now, a manual, and I would think that in my head. and I would go think, I want to be making YouTube videos. And that's when I made like a new channel, and I was like doing pretty good on it, and then I stopped doing it. I went into this in a different podcast episode. But that's what I was doing. When I was doing my work, I was thinking about all the things I wanted to do. That's when I started actually listening to podcasts. I'd be doing painting benches, and I was up there by myself in the woods painting. So I'd be listening to a podcast, and I think I was listening to the H3 podcast, Ethan Klein. And, you know, at the time they had a lot more YouTubers on and stuff. So I was like listening. I was like, okay, here's how like these YouTubers are talking, or here's what they're talking about. Here's the topics they're going into. And then what the videos that I used to make would be like almost satire about those. And not so much like reactions, but kind of like playing into like what's popular at the time, right? So I'd see what they're all talking about. I'd see what they're going on about, blah, blah, blah. And I'd kind of like make videos about that. And it worked. I mean, I grew that channel pretty good. I was getting more views on that channel than I get on this one currently. Actually, that's probably a lie. I get more on this one now. But what I mean is I was doing pretty good on that one. But then I just stopped because I didn't want to do it. When I was kind of manifesting that too, that made me change my degree. I did do it before that, but like I still didn't, part of me still didn't want to go to university. Hold on, let me reverse this for a second so this all makes sense. When I first went to the mountains, the reason I was going out to the mountains is because I was in my first year of university already. I was in anthropology, and I was just not happy. I didn't want to do it. I had already applied to the communications degree to do broadcasting, but I still, part of me just like didn't want to go to school. I just wanted to start working. And then part of me also just wanted to live in a van and just do van life and film YouTube videos, okay? So I just didn't want to do anything with money. I didn't want to be rich. I literally just wanted to live and just travel in a van. That's all I wanted to do. Then as soon as I got and that's why I got the job in the mountains, right? So I could be out there in the wilderness. As soon as I got out there and I didn't have the things I'm used to, and I was surrounded by the people who like, which they're fine, but that's what they wanted to do. That's all they wanted to do is like work at these campgrounds, and that's about it. I was like, okay, I need more than this. And that really changed my mindset to starting to manifest wealth and to want to manifest my creativity more, because I did not want to be where I was forever. You know, I was like, I'm doing this for a couple of months. That's the only time I'm ever going to clean this bathroom for minimum wage at some random campground. You know, so that really, really changed my perspective. At the time it sucked. But looking back now, that is the moment where I went from all I want to do is live in a van, which again, that's fine. I still watch van life videos now, actually, because I like the idea of the lifestyle, but I personally wouldn't want to do it. Maybe for a little bit, but not forever. It changed me from just wanting that and rejecting money and thinking it's horrible to being like, if I earn money, I can do these things, and I'm still, as a person, a good person, so I'm not going to be greedy. I'm not going to spend my money in ridiculous amounts on just things. It's like things that will benefit my creativity, things that allow me to live with less stress, things that where if I make enough money, I don't need to worry about paying for gas. I don't need to worry about whatever the case is. I can be financially free, and therefore that'll allow me to travel. That'll allow me to do this and that. Maybe I don't want to stay in a car the whole time and go to campgrounds. Maybe I'll do that a bit, and I also want to stay at a 5-star resort or a 5-star resort. You know, so like it really just changed my perspective, and that really, really helped me with all of this. That's when my like manifestation began. Okay, so again, I'm just looking at my notes here, so I kind of stay on track. What time are we at? We're at 23 minutes, so we're doing pretty good. Yeah, so you have to put work in. It's not magic. You have to think about what you want and then start working towards that. Another side note is you won't understand necessarily, you might, but you might not know that it's happening until after it's happened and you look back and you went, oh, wait, I did think of that. Like a year before it happened. Or, wait, is that why I did this? You know, like in the moment, you kind of just go with it. You might be thinking about it a bit, you might not. But then once the thing happens and you get what you wanted to get, the thing that you were manifesting, then that's when you sit back and you go, wait, how did I do that? You know, or wait, I thought about this for like 2 years and now I have it. You know? So did my lights just change or did it get dark in here? I'm so confused. I feel like, are my eyes just tripping out? I can't tell. I think it got really dark in my room. Sorry, I have lights on, but that just felt weird. Okay. One other point before I talk about what I manifested. I mean, I already did say like my Mitsubishi and the affinity that I have for cars. Have a strong sense, have the strong desire for it and why you want it. So that's the other important thing that I wanted to touch on quick is you. I can't tell you what to do, but if you have a good reason for why you want it, that is almost stronger than what you want. It's why you want it. So what do I want? I want to get a new camera. I want to get better editing software. I want to get a better laptop. Why do I want to do that? I want to do that because It'll help me unlock my creativity. It'll help me make better videos. It'll help me grow my YouTube channel. That'll help me fuel my creativity, okay? So that why is that big desire for the thing that you want. So the thing that you want isn't as important as why you want to do it, if that makes sense, right? I want this red bike. Why do I want that red bike? The bike doesn't necessarily matter. Why I want it is because then I'll be able to get to school faster. I'll feel free. I've always wanted to ride this bike. I think a red bike would feel so cool. I'd feel fulfilled. That's the important reason as to why you're doing it. Objects can go away, but the feeling that you have for why you want to do it, very, very important. So remember that whenever you're manifesting something. And you can be greedy. You can do whatever you want to do. I don't want to tell you how to do it. But for me personally, it's try to think of the good as to why you're doing it. So whatever you want, try to think, why do I want this? And that is the strong desire that's going to help you manifest and work towards these goals, because it's you. It's not necessarily a thing. It's how you're going to feel. It's what you're going to be able to achieve. It's going to be what you can do. And that's the really important part. Why? Okay? So think to yourself, when you write something down, don't just say, I want $10,000. Why do I want that $10,000? Because of this reason, this reason, this reason, this reason. That's going to help you manifest it, okay? It's just a thing. I don't know. Maybe that's just my thought around it. I just think it's really good to think about why you want something. Now, the next very important part about manifestation, everything as a whole, is always be prepared to take the next step. Now, I've heard this on a lot of podcasts, whether it's esports or whether it's finance or whether it's just YouTube, because I listen to a lot of different podcasts, and everybody says the same thing, and I agree with it. Luck is when hard work meets preparation, okay? So when you're manifesting something and you see this opportunity come up, let's just say it's me wanting to move to Los Angeles to become a filmmaker, okay? And I get the opportunity to go work down there. I meet somebody who I know can get me down there. That part is luck. But the part that's not luck is the fact that I would have had a degree, I would have a portfolio, I'm going to this event to meet this person, and I'm prepared to pitch myself, okay? I'm prepared to show my work, to say why I need to be down there, to get all this information, and to go and do it, right? So it's lucky, yes, that you meet the person, right? Because connections are a big thing. Having a good network is a big thing for whatever you want to do. If you know people, it's going to be much more helpful to get anywhere. But the part that comes in handy is when you have the hard work that you put into it, that whether that's research, whether that's literally work, like getting a degree or getting experience doing something, and then being prepared for the situation, whatever it is, whether that's having a pitch ready, whether that's having just the general information around this topic up, or whatever the case is. Luck is when hard work meets preparation, okay? Because you could be the luckiest person alive and meet these cool people or things that can get you to where you want to go, but if you don't have the hard work backing it, if you don't have any of that manifestation, that's why manifestation is important, because if you don't have any of that thought process into it and you're just meeting these people, nothing will come out of that because you don't have anything ready. I hope that makes sense. What I'm trying to say is that that's kind of what manifestation is. It's seeing these goals, having the reasons why you want to do them, so you're prepared, you're putting in the work for them, and then when that opportunity comes up, which again, at the time you might not know is the opportunity, but when that comes up for that, let's just say that one person who can get you to where you want to go, you've already been manifesting it, right? You already have it on your vision board. You've already been writing down the notes. You already know, why do I want this? So you yourself are ready. You've put in the work to get to this spot. Now you're meeting the person who can help you achieve that, okay? So that might just be general advice. I don't really know. But for the most part, if you're prepared, then the people will take you seriously. Or it doesn't need to be people necessarily, but like if you want this new job and this is the person to get you that job, but you're prepared, you put in hard work, you manifested it, you're ready to go, boom, you met them, you're ready. Running. You're going for it. That's just an important part that I wanted to say. One last thing before I get into the things that I personally have manifested is a very important part is you have to be patient. With anything, you have to be patient. I myself am sometimes not patient, okay? We live in a society with social media where we get instant validation. If I put a YouTube video up and in the first 5 minutes it doesn't get more than one view, I feel like I'm a failure, all right? Sometimes things take time. That can be with anything, in general. Manifestation takes time. You can't start thinking, I'm going to solve this. I'm going to solve this. This is something I manifested, by the way, was the Rubik's Cube. When Duncan did that, I thought about it. I figured out how to solve it. I have papers. I don't know where I put them, but I saw them just the other day because I was cleaning out my room. I figured out how to solve a Rubik's Cube. Okay? But it takes time. I can't just look at this and be like have it like this and go, you know what? I'm gonna solve this, and then boom, boom, I'm done, right? It doesn't just happen like that. That's why I think it's silly when people just say, oh, just manifest it, it's fine. It's like, well, or it's not gonna happen tomorrow. If it does, great. I suppose maybe all of a sudden randomly you will find a red bike in the back alley and you steal it. There you go, you manifested it. But for the most part, don't do that. Don't steal. It takes time. So be patient. Don't get mad. Some things taken, that I've manifested taken a couple of months. Some things have taken a couple of years. Some things I haven't even thought about until I look back at it. And I'm like, holy crap, I started thinking about that 4 years ago, right? And it's happening now. So you truly never know. Now let's get into what I've manifested, because I could talk about this stuff forever, but we're already about half an hour in, so I think this is a great point for me to actually share what I've manifested. So far I've manifested a Rubik's Cube. That might sound stupid, but it's true. I've always wanted to figure out how to solve a Rubik's Cube, and it wasn't until I saw Danny Duncan saying, chase your dreams, show this kid how to do a Rubik's Cube, and I was like, I'm going to learn how to do that, because if I see anybody down the street, and they have a Rubik's Cube, and they want to solve it, I can help them. So I literally wrote down on a piece of paper the steps to solve a Rubik's Cube. I searched up online. I went from taking a couple of days to learn how to solve it, to bringing that down to, 20 minutes, half an hour. And then I brought that down to like 10 minutes, then 5 minutes, and now I can do it within like a minute or two, depending on it's randomized, right? So until you start solving it, sometimes you get luckier and you don't need to do all the different algorithms because you figured it just works. Regardless, that was one of them. Sounds silly, but I did it. I manifested it, did put in the work, and now I can do it. Another thing, like I said, the cars. I had an old car, wanted a new car, I wanted a standard. I ended up getting one. I wanted a Subaru, I got a Mitsubishi instead. It was even better, I really liked it. Then, to take that even a step further, I got even a nicer car, a newer car, a faster car. The only downside is it's more expensive on gas and insurance. But still, I manifested that. Sometimes I do miss my old SUV. I could sleep in it. It was really good. I had a roof rack. I could kayak with it. I could bring my bike stuff. I could store things. But I always wanted a car. So I did it. I got it. Cryos Gaming. That's another one. Started 2 years ago. 2 or 3 years ago. I wanted to start an esports org, so I wrote down a whole bunch of names in a notebook. Cryos Gaming is one of them. I put down plans. I put down mission statements. I put down everything. Forgot about it. All of a sudden, opportunity came up with Alex in this entrepreneurship class. Boom. I already had ideas. We were already working towards it the whole time. We were working towards it. A year ago, we were helping with the other esports organization, with our other classmate, that helped us meet people, that helped give us information, which got us into that class in January because Alex had the connection. So again, that's luck that Alex knew this professor who was the instructor of the class, because he did an internship with him. We get into the class, but we had preparation. We already had 6 months of hard work, got into the class. I already had Cryos Gaming in mind, so when we immediately had to make the switch and we separated from that other esports business, we had Cryos Gaming, and now we have a competitive team. Like, that stuff manifested, right? Started 2019, put some hard work into it, met people, did my own streaming, did all of this, learned a lot of stuff. So when we get into the class, we're ready to go. We want to pitch. That's impressive stuff. Even my internship last year that I did with the Calgary Film Festival doing marketing, I tried for months to try to go to the States. This was before the illness happened, before the pandemic. Nothing worked. All of a sudden, pandemic hit, everything's shutting down. There's barely any internships. If I don't get the internship last year, I couldn't have graduated yet, so I'd be doing an internship right now. I applied, I thought about it, manifested, boom, I got it. I also got my other classmate the same internship with me that year, because in the interview, she said there's only 2 of you, and I knew who it was, and I said, why don't you just hire both of us? We both got hired because I wanted that to happen. I was manifesting it because I wanted to graduate at the time I was going to graduate, because I had other things I wanted to do, other things on my manifestation list that I wanted to accomplish. So I'm like, I need to do this now. And it worked. Helped my buddy out. Even this year, I helped one of my other classmates get the internship because she couldn't do last year. She got the same internship that we had, and now she has a full-time job with them. So it's just crazy how things work out. Graduating, like I just said, when I was in the mountains, I did not want to go to school, but I thought, you know what? I'm going to persevere. I'm going to do it. I'm going to try out this communications degree. Met a whole bunch of great people, learned a lot of new skills. I really liked it. I really did like my time there. I miss it now that I'm done it. And I graduated. I got a degree. I thought, I need this to be successful now. Even if I didn't want to do it all the time, if I still sometimes wanted to just live in a van, I thought, you know what, having this is going to be a great thing to keep me prepared, right? For anything that might come up. It shows dedication, it shows hard work, I learn skills, meet people, everything. That leads me to my new job in Kelowna. I got it because of connections I made at school. I've applied to hundreds of jobs online, no callbacks, not even a single interview. For everything, communications, marketing, anything you can think of. The one job that I actually get is the one job that was emailed to us through our school. I applied through there and I got it. I was manifesting this job for a few months. I was manifesting the move to where I'm going for years. In 2018, I did a road trip by myself out to Kelowna. Like I said, I have family who lives near there. So I went out there on a whim to go visit them. Went to Kelowna by myself. I just had a few days off work and I went, why not? Drove all the way down there, got a hotel, went to the beach every day, and I was like, I like this place. Did take a bit of photos. Look at this right now. This is the only clip I might have from this video. I might take a few more, but right now, if you're listening, go on to Vertical Rooster and look at this clip. It might not be out right now, but it'll be out soon. Just subscribe, turn on the notifications. You'll get it when it comes out. Look at this. My background on Google has been Kelowna. This is where I'm moving, okay? This has been my background for over a year. I changed this background because I was like, I really like Kelowna. I'm graduating next year. Wait, wouldn't that be cool if I could move out there? I applied to so many jobs where I live. None of them. This is a city of over 1 million people. Actually, make sure my camera's on. 1 million people. Nobody called back. The only job I get is through school, through a connection that gets me a job in this place that's been my background on my computer. Okay? I'm not going to be living directly in like this area. I just mean this is a picture from Knox Mountain, it's called. It overlooks kind of the whole thing. So Kelowna is actually like, wait, it's like over here. This is the edge of it. This is like the lumber yard or whatever. This is the bridge that takes you to West Kelowna, which is way in the back here. But I'll be living like down here and working down there, down the lake. I'm going to be working on the lake. I got to find a place right near the lake. Like, it's crazy. I've wanted to do this for so long, and it worked. So this is one of the manifestation things that I changed my computer background to where I wanted to live, and I'm moving there. That is, you can't tell me that's not cool, okay? Even if you think everything I've been saying is kind of stupid, you have to admit that it's kind of cool, some of it, okay? It's neat. It's working towards it. I'd see that every time I turned on my computer, I'd see Kelowna, and I was like, I kind of want to go there. Everything works out, and I look back now, I'm like, that's crazy. I wouldn't have been able to get this job if I didn't go to school, because I wouldn't have even heard about it. I wouldn't have had that connection. This, and that. Now I'm going there. That's where I'm going to be living. It's scary, but it's crazy exciting. That's what I've been manifesting, and I'm going. Like, that's when I myself have to step back for a second and go, I'm doing what I wanted to do. How did I get there? Through a degree, through meeting people, through doing that internship, through doing everything. Everything's led to this. Christ Gaming, every single thing that I did was being manifested because I'd write down notes. I'd write down, here's what I want to do. Here's what I would do if I had an org. Here's why I want to do it. And now I'm owning an org, an esports organization. Like, it's crazy even now when I think back as I'm doing and I'm thinking about it, that's nuts how that all works out. It's just, I don't know. It's just exciting. It's really cool. Definitely recommend it. Even with the Kelowna thing, another thing is in my duotang. Not this thing up here. I don't think I have a picture of it up there, but I had a picture of a vineyard, because they have a lot of wineries out there. I had a picture of a vineyard on the lake, Okanagan Lake, in that duotang since like 2018, maybe 2019, I don't know. So I've been thinking about it for a while. Had it in there, went on a vacation, I was like, this is sweet, put it as my background, I'm going. So that's what I'm saying. It doesn't happen just like that automatically. This took years, since 2018, and it didn't just automatically appear and I'm like going. It appeared because I was applying for more places there. It also came up because the email that I got for this job happened to be in the place I wanted to go, so I applied to it. I did extra work for it. I sent in portfolio pieces for it because I was prepared. Actually, one of the things I had to go do is I had to go and shoot a video. I went out and did that at a place I already had connections with, because I did a video for those guys. It's at a rec center. It's crazy. This is a crazy thing. Crazy coincidence. Say what you want. I think this is when manifestation works out. In like 2017, one of my very first video projects I ever did for my degree was doing a radio piece about a rec center right near my house that's going to be getting an expansion, right? It's going to expand, and it's like a huge project. It's going to be way bigger, way better than it was before. I did that years ago. Then this year, I get a reply from this guy for this job, and he says, I need you to go out and shoot a quick minute video, like a TikTok or whatever you want to do with your phone. And I'm like, what can I do? And I thought, hey, this construction on the place I did a radio story for 3-4 years ago is actually happening right now. It's actually starting physically. Now I can visually show it. So I went there, filmed it, shot it, got the job. Like, isn't that crazy to think about? Like, just stop for a second to think. The place that my very first school project that I did something for in radio turns out is the exact piece that I do to get me a job 4 years later in the place that I want to go to, the place that I want to live. So call that what you want, call that coincidence, call that whatever. I see it as it's not luck, because there's when you see where you're at, I see, okay, I got this job, I'm moving to Kelowna. What got me to this place? And it's like 10 things that got me there. It's because I manifested, because that was my goal, and that's what I am beginning to achieve. So that's my whole point, is that manifestation works, but you have to also make it work your way. If you watch the doc, The Secret on Netflix, some of the things they say are goofy. I'll be like, that doesn't make any sense. But take it with a grain of rice and apply that to yourself, what works for you. Don't listen to every single thing I said as gospel. Don't take every single thing I said as what you have to do. What you have to do or won't work. Take what I said as just general advice and apply that to whatever you want to do and how you want to do it, and see what happens. Just try it. The worst that's going to happen is it won't work, and then you're in the same place you were anyways. You know what I mean? Like, the worst thing that's going to happen is nothing happens at all. But nothing's going to happen at all regardless if you don't try it. So just try some of the stuff I said. Try manifesting. Write some things down. Write down why you want to do them. Have a vision board. Write down your goals even. That's for anything. It could be short-term goals. What do you want to do? Write it down and try it. Just do it. So I get so passionate about this stuff because it's crazy. And sometimes it doesn't hit me how crazy it is until I talk about it. Like right now when I'm talking about it. That's why I got more excited, if you can tell, in the second half of this. Because when I was talking about the job and I thought, wait, how did I actually get that? And it's insane because it lines up. You can see how it works. You can see how I did it. That's crazy. I haven't even started that yet. I mean, it's very stressful, but very exciting at the same time. So that's what I'm hoping to turn that into, down the line, when Christ is successful. When I can live off of YouTube and brand deals, and maybe I can have merch that comes out, or whatever else might come up, whatever job opportunities I do. I want to be able to look back and be like, that's how I did it, right? So if I'm already this excited about this stuff, and this is my first job and all of this, moving to the place I want to move, I'm so excited for the future and what it will hold. And now, right before I wrap this, right before I wrap the podcast up, I just want to say, which I kind of already did, is just what do I want to do now? What am I going to try to kind of manifest? Financial freedom, obviously one of them, because like I said, very expensive. Although it's something I've been manifesting for a while, where I'm living, it comes with a price, and that price is pretty hefty for a single boy. Well, no, I'm not single. Sorry, I mean, I'll be moving there by myself, so I'll be living on my own. Don't tell my girlfriend that I said single boy. I did not mean it like that. I just meant I'll be living as a single occupant there. She's staying back here for a little bit. We'll see what happens down the line, but I didn't mean I myself am single. Anyways, financial freedom is one of them. That'll come down the line. Success with YouTube and Christ. I'm working towards that as we speak. Having a nice house with some land is my biggest long-term goal. I don't know if that's going to be out in the Okanagan. I don't know if that's going to be near a lake. I don't know if that's going to be out here back in Alberta. I don't know if that's going to be in the mountains. I'm not sure exactly where it's going to be, but I know I have my options, and I know that's something I've always wanted, is to have a nice house that I have with a bit of land where I can film YouTube videos, where I can do projects, just let my creativity go. I don't want to live in a condo space or anything forever. I will now, obviously, but that's a long-term goal that I'm kind of manifesting, and that's why it's important, because it's what do I want to work towards? Okay, how do I get there? I need to make this X amount of money, or I need to have this much, passive income. I want to move here, which means I'd have to work remotely, or I have to blah, blah, blah. Things go into it. And then short-term, very short-term, is finding a place to live in Kelowna. That is very short-term. That is happening as we speak, and it is very stressful. Like I said, it's not only expensive, it's also impossible to find places. They come up maybe once every couple of days, and many people apply to each one. So yeah, that's my current manifestation, short-term manifestation goal, finding a place to live. I already talked about how you don't realize manifestation is working until you look back at your accomplishments and go, how did I get there? How did I do it? Here's how I did it. keep notes, make a dream board or a dream journal, not a dream journal, that's different. Make a dream board, a vision board, take opportunities and just work hard. Be open, be nice, be a good person, talk to people. You never know who you're going to meet, the connections you'll make, and the stories you'll be writing as you go. Stories you'll tell later on around the campfire about how you did stuff. Or tell your YouTube audience, or tell people on the podcast. You never know. The stories are constantly being written as we speak. Okay, that's all I have for today. I really hope you guys enjoyed. Sorry, this was a completely different topic, but it's something that I was like super passionate about. And since everything has been like lining up recently, I really, really wanted to talk about it because it can help you. It helped me. It's crazy stuff. And I know it sounds stupid, but just try it. Like, I know some of it that I said might sound kind of dumb. Like, you want me to keep a vision board? Do it. You want me to write notes about why I want a car? Yes, do it. Like, just try it. Nothing's going to hurt if you try it. And again, be patient. It won't happen right away. Give it a bit of time. Keep working towards it. Make connections. Network. You can do it too. Phase up. Chase your dreams. Okay. That's all I have to say. I don't want to drag this one on. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for listening. Again, if you enjoyed, please leave a like. It helps the algorithm. Please leave a comment. Please leave a review if you're listening. Give it a rating on whatever listening platform you're listening on. I'd much appreciate that. And yeah, I'll see you guys again. Actually, no. Sorry. Last thing. Next week, I'm not doing the podcast. I will be in Kelowna looking for a place for 4 days. I will not have any of my stuff with me to film. So I will not be doing a podcast episode next week. It'll be delayed. And hopefully I'll have some news by then about where I'm living, how things are going, and I might try to get a guest. I know I say that every time, but I might get a guest. Might be more about esports, might be more about gaming. If you guys have also noticed the channel art for the podcast art changed. I made a new one. It looks way better than the old one, and it's not just gaming now. It's going to be about a bit about everything. So yeah, we'll see. I might need to change it on Anchor. I don't want to make it just gaming. I want to make it like lifestyle. I might do that. I forgot about that till just now. Okay, that's everything. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Hope you enjoyed this episode of the Lucky Dip Podcast. See you later.